Hi everyone, I'm Tanaz from foreverconscious.com and this is your weekly energy forecast for the week of April 26th. Okay, so this week we're wrapping up the month of April, we're heading into the month of May, so we're kind of in this prep phase. The energy feels very like we're preparing, and this is what we're preparing for. We have a bunch of planets about to go retrograde. So for the last couple of weeks, or like even over a month, we've had no planets in retrograde, and this has created very fast forward moving energy. We all know that our lives, we've all had a lot of new experiences and our lives kind of took on a whole new turn very, very quickly. So we've had a lot of forward moving energy. But now things are slowing down. The planets are starting to go retrograde. We have quite a few planets in retrograde over the coming months. I think at one point we have up to 6 planets in retrograde all at the same time. So that's a lot. And retrograde energy asks us to slow down. It draws us inward. In our external lives, things might feel a little stop and go. We might want to push forward, but there's a little resistance. Instead, we're really being drawn to go in, to reflect, to look back over the past, to look back over the last couple of months, because there's something that maybe we missed or overlooked. And this is what the universe guides us to do when we have a lot of these retrograde planets. It's like, no, hang on, go back. Before you can move forward, you need to go back, look over a couple things. Maybe there's something that you've missed that will really help you on this new part or this new path of your journey that will begin, once everything goes direct. So that's sort of the mode that we're entering into. By the time we reach about mid-May, we have 4 planets in retrograde and then more kind of come in the coming months. So we are heading into this energy, and a lot of these planets have already started to slow down. In fact, we already have Pluto in retrograde. It happened a couple of days ago. And as other planets follow, we'll just start feeling this more and more. So we're heading into this retro energy. Another energy that we're kind of prepping for are the lunar nodes changing signs. So I don't want to get too technical here. I have an article on Forever Conscious, and I'll post a link below about it so you can read a bit more detail on it. But the lunar nodes are actually mathematical points. They're not planets. They're a mathematical point between the sun and the moon. And they symbolize our soul purpose on an individual level, but also on a collective level. The nodes are kind of like what our souls have all come here to do together. During our time together, what lessons have we come to work through and navigate as a collective? And as the nodes change signs, which happens on May 5th, we're starting a new soul collective lesson. So we're wrapping up one and we're heading into a new one. So our collective soul lesson for the last sort of year and a half has been one about home and family, our home and family life versus our career, our ambition, and our public persona. Maybe we have felt a push-pull in these areas in some way. Maybe we have felt like we want to spend more time at home with our family. We want to prioritize that a little bit more. We want to slow down and make sure that we're caring for ourselves and that our work and, career isn't overshadowing some of these things. Or maybe it's been the opposite. Maybe there's been a need to detach from the home and family life in a little way and kind of go out there and fulfill your dreams and go after your career and, focus on building those things that you want to achieve in this life. So there's kind of been a push-pull between these two things, and on a collective level, we've all worked through that in some way over the last sort of 1.5 to 2 years. And actually a perfect expression of the lunar node is happening right now with this idea of staying home. We're in lockdown, we're protecting the vulnerable and our elderly community versus, okay, well, when do we need to get back to work? People need to work. So this debate is also very much part of our soul collective lessons and helping to shift the way we think about these two areas of our life. I feel like a good overriding mantra for this lunar node journey that we've been on is that our worth is not defined by our work. And I think that work can be our career, but also the things that we do with our family as well, the work that we do within the home. So our worth is not defined by our work. So maybe sit with that, feel into that, reflect on that a little bit, see how this dynamic might have presented in your life over the last kind of 2 years or year and a half. See what sense you can kind of make of that collective lesson for yourself. So that's been the journey, and then on May 5th, the nodes are going to switch signs. They'll move out of Cancer and Capricorn, which is where they've been, and they'll head into Gemini and Sagittarius. So now we have a new set of collective soul lessons to work with. And it's kind of hard to really, or at least I find it difficult to really put a finger on what that is exactly going to look like. But here are some of the themes that we might expect to see. So Gemini, it's all about expression, speaking our truth, sharing our authentic voice, learning, listening to learn, curiosity. And then that kind of Sagittarius energy is about teaching, sharing our wisdom. So this is where we might get this, kind of push-pull dynamic between learning and teaching. How else might it show up? Between expressing our truth and sort of listening more to the, organized or group thought. It can also, so we might see things come up in terms of freedom of speech. We might see things turn up in terms of the media and how information is relayed to us. It can also bring up issues around travel. There might be, because Sagittarius is a sign that rules over travel and, especially long distance travel. Gemini energy rules over domestic travel. So we might see some changes in travel. And actually the last time the nodes were in this position was in 2001, right after 9/11. So we definitely saw some changes to the travel industry at that time. So we might see that again. As I mentioned, I have an article about this. You can go and read it, but we're shifting into this time. We're moving out of this my worth is not my work and into this time of how can I share and express my true authentic voice? How can I stand in my power, stand in my confidence to share my story, respect other people's sharing of their story, and as I stand in my truth and share my story, I can hopefully inspire, help, and teach others. And that's kind of the feel that I get as we move into this new soul collective lesson that's indicated by these lunar nodes. So we're heading into this shift where this week it's sort of preparing. We might feel that slowdown with all that retrograde energy that's on the horizon. We might also feel that collective soul lesson shift. So tune into that, see how that feels for you. Check in with yourself. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope you stay safe and your loved ones stay safe. And I have more information on all of this at foreverconscious.com. Thank you so much.